This Duce is running through my brain vein right now.
True.
So excuse the slurring and the whole nine, but we all feeling nice. Internets! We got the legendary Kierna Mayo in here.
What up? What up?
We got Kierna Mayo in here. We going deep into this hip hop history. Like,
history.
let me just recap. The fallout that we were talking about is that, you know, you already heard extensively what Ray Benzino's relationship was with the Source, but there was specifically an issue. I mean, no, I'm sorry. It was Duce. There was an album by the almighty RSO that didn't qualify for 5 mics, and because the Source was very stringent and strict with their 5 mics ratings, they were surprised. You guys was the staff was surprised one day when y'all walked in and it was like, yo, who the fuck put this 5 mics in the magazine and it's on the stands?
So I'm not a part of the y'all.
Right.
This is exactly the time that I leave and go to Detroit.
Right.
This is also the time that I'm telling you that I'm friends with Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the time that everyone I've known and loved and respected and built shit with is revolting.
Right. They leave.
The facts are, they're devastating. I mean, also it's cumulative, right? This is clearly the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the year prior to that or so, and I'm totally, like, don't trust my time measurements 40 years later, however many years later. But 20 years later, they really were hurt.
Right.
There was such an underpinning of brokenheartedness that framed
disenchantment.
Everything. You know, but there was a lot of hard work that went into this, so there was a lot of ownership where there was not a lot of ownership.
Right.
And so that became really clear also.
Right.
Folks' lack of business relationship to the Source, even though they were clearly the parents of it, the custodians of it. And it really, really, it was a time of a lot of broken hearts.
Right.
And Dave knew that he crossed the line that he couldn't return from.
Right. Being a friend of Dave
Mm-hmm.
at the time,
Mm-hmm.
what were the conversations like? It was like, Kierna, I fucked up.
I don't remember this. I remember his overall sadness.
Right.
I remember him being more quiet than normal. Dave, to know Dave was to
And
know.
Dave's already fucking quiet.
You know, at that time, right, but when he felt right, or when he felt like he was smarter than you, he would be very clear and kind of almost overbearing. The way he treated people sometimes was, ironically, like a reflection of how it seemed the relationship between him and Ray was. Just seemed like he was kind of projecting that same kind of
karmic in a sense. Right.
So it was deep.
Right.
So I don't want to say, because I think I recall, but then I'm like, what if I'm not 100% accurate about his words?
Right.
But I remember more his sentiment, because that wasn't a face that he showed. Like I was privy to that because I was his friend.
Right.
But that was not something anyone else knew. He was in full combat mode.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you there when
And he was riding for Ray. That's
Right.
the point.
Wow.
Sides were taken. He took Ray's side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you there when Illmatic got the 5 mics?
I wasn't at the Source.
You wasn't at the Source. Okay, good. So your life changes. You go to Detroit. How do you come back like a phoenix rising from the ashes, and you launch Honey magazine? How did that happen?
Things happen in between all of that, but yes, flash forward to Honey. Honey is a direct. There's a through line from the Source to Honey, right? So for all of the dreams and the Kiernas of the world that we know exist, there has to be something. And my girlfriend from Hampton, Joycelyn Dingle, and myself kind of...
What up, Joycelyn?
Yep, what up, Jay? Came up with this idea that was made possible in my mind because of what I saw Dave and John and what I saw them do.
Right. What they created.
Well, just that they could. I thought you had to be a 60-year-old
white,
Jewish
multi-millionaire,
male. I thought you had to be them 60 years later or 50 years later or 40 years later. You know, I really did, and that they kind of deconstructed that really quickly for me, that you could be young and you could have a media vision. So, and Joycelyn always believed that we were magical and could make shit happen.
Black girl magic.
Yes. And so we just kind of took what we knew to be the pulse of women who surrounded hip hop, who were major parts, contributors to the culture in every kind of way, and who were digesting it and who were reinterpreting it and who do style and every other way. We were just like, there has to be a center point. And it's more sophisticated now because it's 98, it's the late 90s.
Right.
We're heading almost into the 2000s, so much has happened, you know. The source is not my reference at that point.
Right.
But clearly, those many years later, it was what put the seed in me, and also what centered hip hop for me. I was like, this is saleable. We can make money from this.
And this is speaking to a demo that's really not spoken to. This is the hip hop. This is the woman hip hop fan magazine. We're speaking to you.
Yes.
We understand your sensibilities. We understand your tastes.
Yeah.
In hip hop, you know, we're good girls, but we might like the thug, and so this, you know, it's speaking to all of those sensibilities and more. I'm just talking surface.
Yes, I mean it spoke to all of our intersections. So were we wearing Timbs and red lipstick? Yes.
You know, I miss hold on. Yo, I miss those days when y'all was so beautiful and like fashionably thugged out.
I was telling somebody today, I was why was I always so thugged out?
But this shit was like y'all don't understand, like, yo, like,
Around the Way Girl.
It wasn't even the Round the Way Girl. I remember, like, the last girl that broke my heart was an attorney who I saw stepping out of a Jeep with Tim's on.
What Jeep? Who Jeep?
It was like a Wrangler or some shit, but I was like, yo, you got Tim's on. I'm in love with the Coco.
And that's how it was with us.
Right.
I mean, and we weren't, sometimes we were mimicking the boys.
Yes.
But other times we were commanding the style.
Right.
And directing the culture. And we knew that there was also the subculture of the women of hip hop culture. That was an existing subculture without it even being spoken. It just was.
Right.
And we just became a center point for that. Like, we recognized it. And we were sophisticated enough to understand fashion and feminism and all kinds of things that found its way to Honey and really became a rallying cry for a subset of women who were in the know and, you know, found themselves in Lauryn Hill.
You know, it's so funny looking back. I don't think there's a better name, you know, aptly titled for a publication than Honey. Like, because it fits so well. Honey was iconic. Honey is legendary, but Honey was also short-lived.
Yes.
What happened to Honey?
That's how long, honestly, for real, how long?
You listen, Chuck D spoke here for 4 hours.
Really?
I mean, we didn't publish 4 hours, but we were like, yo.
But what are we cutting this down to? Because I don't want to sit here and just kick all of that shit for no reason.
No, we don't edit. Kierna, we don't edit. My nigga, we don't edit here. Talk.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So, but I'm still gonna give you the abridged.
Of course, because we gotta get to now, but
because we have to get to now.
But you got all the time in the world. We have 45-minute episodes and we have 3.5 hour episodes. And our audience, listen, internets. This is directly to you. We've been doing this for 6 years right now, and for those of y'all that ride with the 45-minute Plies interview, and for those of y'all that ride with us with the 3.5 hour Chuck D interview, from my heart and soul, I thank y'all. Back to Kierna Mayo.
Ashe.
Ashe. Hotep. Do say, and Hotep ain't nothing to fuck with. So what happened? Because you guys are independent. You guys are living out your dreams. And once again,
right,
you find in this crazy hectic, chaotic world where you're trying to define yourself, where you're trying to express yourself, where you're trying to connect to kindred spirits that you know
Right.
that your shit is dope and they will receive it. What the fuck happened?
Well, getting to honey, the beginnings of honey, the manifestation of honey was at the heels of a lot of rejection, protracted rejection, yearly rejection.
Right.
This is not an idea that can work. There's only essence, you know? And no one wanted to recognize, to the extent that folks didn't really want to recognize hip-hop in traditional spaces. They didn't want to represent and understand and validate the women of the
course.
subculture. I mean, this is just, again, so that's what I mean about being ahead of the curve.
Right.
Because we push forward something that pops at a certain point, and
Right.
if you enter then, it's
You're
a
good,
different
you're good,
scenario.
right.
Yes. But what we're beginning is like the culminate, we have to exist for a Rihanna to exist. There's a straight line between Honey and Rihanna.
Right.
Right? What else?
So what happened? Like, what happened to
Okay.
the publication?
That's
From what
where
I
I'm
understand.
stalled.
Okay, so this is from what I understand.
Yeah.
You guys are doing such a great job that people recognize once you're executing. After all these years of rejection, people are recognizing, wait a minute, this is a commodity. There's value to this. Vanguard Media, Keith Klinkstales, sees you guys. He's like, I want to add to this value. Comes to the table, acquires Honey, and then you're no longer part of it.